Welcome to the dark web. You found a podcast called the DweeBros podcast. Look over your shoulder and make sure mom's not watching. Because we're going to talk video games, movies, TV shows.
Everything a mom hates.
And maybe even hacking. We're going to talk only black hat hacking. Do you know what that is?
No.
There's black hat hacking and white hat hackers. And what that is, the white hat hacker, he tries to help find...
hacking to find vulnerabilities.
And lets the company know. But the black hat hacker is out there for the money.
Oh.
Are there gray hat hackers that they're playing both sides?
Yeah,
That's what I would be if I was a hacker.
You're like, how much money is involved?
Yeah.
I have one thing I want to bring up real quick.
Yeah.
We're on episode 7?
54.
That's where I have a hard time keeping track. Wow,
What do you mean episode? I thought we just hang out and talk. Is this like going on the internet?
This is continuing.
No.
I thought you were my friend.
Yeah, you're like, how long have we been doing this for? At what number
Yeah.
do you think... Because I just had a major deja vu.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've done this before.
I'm actually pretty sure you have to.
I think you started talking about... you introed with a dark web bit.
No, that's the first time dark web bit.
Okay.
I could almost guarantee.
I sit here, I promise you, I was like...
I've done
you put your hood up, and I was like... And you said dark web, I was like, we've been here before. When have we been here before?
Well, maybe you're having once a deja vu.
That's why I was like...
That was the first time I've done my dark web bit.
As soon as you said it, I was like...
Now, I've probably put the hood on and did a character before,
Yeah.
But
now that this sparks me, like... when do you think you hit the bit where you're like... Because, we can be honest. It ain't like we have a script. It ain't like we have...
Oh, yeah. This is
we don't have a script?
When do you think Zach will repeat himself? At
Never.
what time?
Never. I never repeat jokes. I only do jokes once.
So you think, if we're 300 episodes in, you don't think you're ever going to just repeating something?
That's what she said.
I think I'm going to... Here's my number. You ready?
Yeah.
80.
80? I'll do the dark
By
web bet.
I think
80.
episode 68, 69, he'll repeat himself.
Podcast 69 is going to be great. You guys got to watch that one.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I was just wondering.
I'm Zach, a.k.a. DweeBro. I'm joined by the great, magnificent Jacob.
As
the
always.
wonderful, beautiful Travis. And we are back.
In the saddle again.
Back in the saddle again. I've changed some stuff around in the room. The room looks different. It's been a year since we've been in this room, I believe. But, all together. Person. But thank you for joining us. We've got some great topics to talk about tonight, such as the dark web.
What's the second topic?
Let's keep on the computer stuff. You sent this in our group chat, and I want to talk about it. You sent a pre-build.
Oh!
There was a pre-build that included an RTX 3060 higher-end graphics card, whatever, for those that don't know. That's the ones that people are killing each other for. Because there's a shortage, there's people scalping these for mining and stuff, but they put that up on Best Buy, and I was seeing other people on TikTok talk about this, this is an amazing, incredible deal. Because that card is basically the cost of that card, but you get a whole pre-build.
That's not true.
No, 100%.
No, I just helped Greg buy all the parts from Micro Center, and he just got his graphics card. He got a 3070 for $650.
Okay, well...
this week.
You got the pre-built with it?
No, we got all the... me and him and Sam got together because things are so hard to get right now. At Micro Center, there's a Discord even. Stand in line and get a card every day. So you have to go down there 6 a.m., get on the Discord, know when to go. But it is very difficult to get parts right now. But if you go to Micro Center and you wait in line at the right times, you can get them. And he literally got his entire build, all the pieces, good. He's got his motherboard, he's got all that stuff. Yeah. That all cost around probably $500 to $600 to get. And then he spent $650 on a 3070.
Man, that's
he
awesome.
Just bought it.
He's the 1%. Because I'm telling you right now, there are people out there who are still struggling to get this graphics card.
I think because you had to be part of the Discord.
Yeah,
this was just on
he's
Best
not
Buy.
on the Discord. He went down to Micro Center at 6 a.m. They get a shipment every 2 days, and he stood in line.
Which is
now,
good.
if you don't have Micro Center near you, that might be harder.
That's what I'm saying. These people are saying and when he sent the link, I went to it and I could add it to my cart.
Yeah.
And have the whole thing to me, which is a crazy deal.
I looked at the price of the card. The card was selling for $1,200.
That's
sold.
stupid.
So that PC was like $1,380, like $1,380.
Yeah.
So you could take the card out and literally sell the card for the cost of all the
That's what
parts.
we were saying. Like, this is the cost of the whole thing.
And which is insane. So then you start looking up the higher end models. The higher end models are like, hey, you can get a 3090, 30, all those other ones. And it was like an extra couple $100. Yeah. So the question is like, how, and I think the thing what people always ask, like, how do these pre-manufactured, like Cyber PC, iBuy PC, these companies get these parts in cheaper? Well, they buy in bulk and they manufacture also, I think, some of their own parts, which helps drive the price down in itself too. Because, these PCs are very cheap. Well,
there's still a retail price on the parts. And retailers are still going to sell them for that. Are they getting marked up on, like, third parties? Like, where are you seeing them? Where did you see a 3060 marked up to $1,300?
Oh, it was like, eBay, all the resellers.
Well, don't buy from resellers. That's why it's so expensive.
The problem is people are buying from the resellers.
Because there's these bots. People can't even get a hold of these
It's a scalping issue. PS5s.
Yeah, I get that. But
you know what's crazy? Everything is being scalped right now on planet Earth.
Sure.
Because we were going to put a fence in our backyard.
Good luck.
And we got a quote for that from somebody going to do the labor and buy it, and it was out the wazoo.
Yeah.
It was like laughable to do that. So it's like if you find lumber, every time like I'm driving me and my wife and I see somebody with lumber in the back of the truck, I'm like, hey, next stoplight, get out and get that. Get out and put it in.
Yeah.
Well, the price of lumber is skyrocketed.
It's 4 or 5 times.
But what's funny? People 10 years ago were like, oh, wow, lumber's really expensive. We'll wait. 10 years later, dang it, we waited a little too long.
Well, it just jumped up so crazy, but it's hard to get anything right now.
Yeah,
Speaking of crazy to get anything, I want to go into our game segment with this. About 2013, I got a job. It was my first big boy job, let's say. And I went crazy. I was like, I'm going to collect old video games that I had as a kid. Awesome. And even then, in 2013, it was like people are putting up the price on these Super Nintendo games and Nintendo 64 games. But I went through and I bought so many packages, the mailman was going to kill me during this period. Got all the games I wanted, whatever. Got all the stuff, and I put down collecting. Well, recently, all these like Pokemon cards. We've been opening up, by the way, Pokemon cards on the streams if you've been seeing me and Kenny, but. Doing going through all that stuff, that's went up in price. I was like, you know what? There is a couple games I would like to get. Maybe there are a couple that I'd like to collect now. Everything is 5 to 8 times in value. I went back and was like, well, how much is this worth that I bought? And there were certain games. There was one game I bought, Super Metroid. I cringed because I paid $100 for it in 2013.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go over $100. I paid $100 for this game, but it's I'll do it. And I bought that game. Check the price the other day. If you have all the maps and stuff, one went for $750.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, I don't think that hurts. But it's funny, stuff hurts in the moment when you buy it. I really want that, but it's $200 online. It's what's going to happen 8 years from now?
It's only going to go up.
Yeah, that stuff's only going up. So,
it's funny you mentioned the Pokemon cards on that realm too, because PSA is completely backed up too, by the way. Because Pokemon cards, baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards. Card trading.
Yeah. I sent in 3 cards, and I did a video on the channel about this. Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. Because I just wanted to have them in their little capsule thing. I didn't care what the grades were. But even that took 2 months to get that back. But I also sent in, when I was now I've seen all this stuff going up, I had a sealed Halo 2 limited edition. And I just sent that in to get graded from Wada Games. Have you heard of that? There's Wada and there's VGA. But I sent that in to go get graded, so I'm going to cross my fingers.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they're all totally blown out, too. But
I haven't seen much on Yu-Gi-Oh!
They just did they're doing a big re-release of all the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, Kenny opened those on stream. Yep. So we did a stream.
What's that called?
It's something like the Blue Eyes.
Ghost of the Past.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, but they are gone.
Gone. I want one of those.
But those
how much is one of those big boxes?
They're not much. Well, you get 3 packs for the one that Kenny had, and it was $15 if that.
So I've seen there's a big box you can get that's just filled with them.
More and more.
Yeah.
But when he opened those on stream, those were fun because he opened Pokemon cards before, and you are getting hit or miss. With the Ghost of the Past,
it's all holographics.
I know there's a ton of commons, and Kenny actually didn't get any of we were wanting Blue Eyes, we were wanting Dark Magician, but he got every one is holographic.
Yeah,
and that was fun for the stream because they all look sick.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh lately.
$25. This is what someone has on here
for that big box.
But it's a mini box.
Okay.
So that might be the 3-pack thing that Kenny had.
But I might buy one of those because I've been wanting to get Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I've been watching. I just finished the first arc of like the Duelist Kingdom. Yeah. I started rewatching it.
Dude, you're addicted to those shows.
Oh, I just love that show.
Now, are you watching that? Is that a running on the treadmill game?
No, that's just throw it on at night because I can fall asleep and I'm not worried about what I miss.
But, how's Naruto going?
I haven't really ran too much lately. Like I'm
no running, no Naruto.
4 episodes in probably, but
Naruto.
But I will say, when it comes to cards...
That's the title of the podcast.
The one cards, and I had to ask my brother, because he's really big into this, when I go to the store, the one thing that isn't, like, totally sold out is Magic. And I was really interested, because I know tons of people that play Magic, so I asked my brother, I was like, why is this, like, when you go to Target, like, it's Pokemon gone, baseball cards gone, Yu-Gi-Oh cards gone, Magic, it's all there. And I was talking to him about it, and their volume, because people still play that game is massively popular on a literal playing level. And also, it doesn't have as many famous, like, characters. People aren't buying to collect. They're buying it to play it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a totally different thing.
It's a game-based thing.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more expensive to get into than Yu-Gi-Oh! So I actually did go with my brother, because I wanted to open some cards and play some cards. We went and we bought 4 like the structure decks for what they call whatever, I don't know, they're called whatever decks, but bought 4 decks for Magic and started playing some Magic and had a lot of fun with that. Cool. And then there's a Magic Arena game that I've had on the computer, but they released it for the phone, so I've been playing that a little bit too. And Magic is a really, really, really good card game. Like, I love Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. I like collecting Pokemon cards. Magic is far and away the best game out of those.
Magic's
by far, it is a great game that is very well designed.
I really, really like Magic. I'm excited because like apparently there's a Magic VR project that's being worked on too. But I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh in VR, and it's been absolutely.
Now that I've got a VR, I'm wanting to check that out.
Oh my gosh!
Can we play against each other?
Did you get a VR?
I did. I got an Oculus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have to. How sick would it be? Can
we duel each other?
Yes, you can. That's the whole point of it.
On stream?
On stream.
Oh my gosh.
Sick would it be?
Pot of greed.
How sick would it be if
Pot of greed.
I'm just hype this right now.
I'd whoop the floor with you first off.
No, you wouldn't.
But
last time we played, I beat you because you made up a freaking rule and you
what
put me in
rule
an
did I make
infinite chain. You made up what this card did.
You kept pulling out Pot of Greed.
It was an infinite chain. I said, let me read that card.
I played Pot of Greed.
I played Pot of Greed.
I've been watching. Number one, I'm a better Yu-Gi-Oh player than you.
Second,
always have been.
false.
Number 2, how many tournaments did you play in?
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm a better player than you for sure because you have no answer to that question.
Can you stream this? Can we get?
Yeah, here's what we'll do.
Oh,
I already have plans.
I'm so down.
I'll get my new Oculus, which we'll talk about in a second, and we'll both stream it to Discord. And you'll have to it'll be a hangout. And you'll have to take both the screens and just throw them up there. You can see Travis's point of view and my point of view.
Okay.
Dude, I'm like in.
I'll send you the link to download it. It's a free game to download. It is a ton of fun.
I'm so in. Does it have like the Link and Xyz and all that, or is it old school?
It has. So the way it works is like you can use pre-built character decks, but you can battle from like these stands. You know, like the old school Duelist Kingdom stands.
Do you want to do the stands, or you want to do the duel
Or
discs?
you can do the duel discs. Or hold on, there's a new update. They have the 5D riders.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That is motion sickening because I was riding it and I put a card down and then blue eyes popped up. I was like, this is awesome. I feel sick. Like, this is disgusting. Like,
I'm down to do the dual disc. The old school platforms are cool because that's what I was just watching. Is Dungeon Dice ever going to come to that? Because there's a Dungeon Dice game on the Game Boy Advance that's awesome.
What do I have?
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Game Boy Advance games are amazing.
They are.
Eternal Duelist Soul, World Championship.
Dark Duel Stories is the one.
That's a good game.
I liked that one a lot. And the cool thing about that one, I loved playing as a kid because you could put in the code on the card and get it in the game.
That's how Eternal Duelist Soul was.
That one
the old Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh! Games are top
I didn't get to the Game Boy
tier.
Advance one, but the Game Boy Color was
top tier.
I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll send you the link. We'll talk about it. We'll plan out for the future. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is awesome. I have a blast with it.
But Magic is a better game.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about, I'm attacking you, you're attacking me, I'm attacking your monster, you're attacking my monster. Magic is so... There's 5 different like colors that you can base your strategy around, and they have very distinct styles. One is very focused on getting big creatures that are hard to get out there, but once you get them out there, they're hard. They stop basically. Yeah. Or there's fire or red, which is lots of small creatures that burn. Or there's blue, which is like controlling and making your opponent. There are decks that are just focused on making your opponent draw their whole deck out to where they lose. Like you can win so many different ways in Magic. That I'm growing more of a appreciation for that game.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like playing it, and I I might have played Magic once in middle school. But people I saw in middle school only played that. Pokemon,
I don't like
very
Pokemon
rarely
as a
see it
card game.
played when I was growing up. I always saw it collecting.
Yep.
I mostly saw it collecting.
Yep.
But there's our trading card segment of the podcast. So check out the Hangouts. We've been opening up Pokemon packs. I think that's been very fun to do, just to see what we get. And I don't know what any of the Pokemon are. But
I want to get some of those Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Come
boxes. Come on, hang out and get one, and we'll open up a Yu-Gi-Oh!
You order it on Amazon?
You can
that's what I just saw.
And they're not sold out?
Nope, you can have your cart right now.
Next stream we do, you might get some Yu-Gi-Oh! Openings. But
that's cool.
But me and Jacob, speaking of Hangouts, started our It Takes Two journey, which is probably gonna be a 5-part.
It's gonna be a chunker.
It's gonna be a little bit.
A Way Out was roughly about 8 hours.
We knocked it 3. We did it in 3, didn't we?
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
no,
it was
I think a Way Out. Way Out was a little bit. Way
Out was shorter.
It Takes Two. I think it said how much long was it? 10.
It's 10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12 hours.
So it's probably gonna be a 5-parter, maybe a 6.
I'll tell you what. It Takes Two is.
So It Take Two is another game from Joseph Ferris. He made A Way Out.
Brilliant mind.
Check out the A Way Out. We even put clips of just funny freaking moments we had on that. But started that up, and the premise of that game is that your husband and wife about to go through a divorce, and this is how the game starts. The daughter is like upset or whatever, and she has these little almost looks like voodoo dolls.
Yeah, voodoo doll looking.
And
things.
She's like, hey, I hope you guys get together. She's pretending like the.
Well, she's talking about this book. She's like, she has this book, I guess, that she said that could make this better.
Yeah. So that whatever and magic happens, and now the husband is that voodoo doll, and the wife is the other voodoo doll.
It's like a potato.
Yeah.
And now you have to get back, and you're trying to get to the daughter to try to help you to get to the book or whatever. But the way this is set up is so awesome.
Yeah.
Right from the get go, it's I know what this game is doing, and it's awesome. I would describe this as a co-op Pixar film.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because the first thing that happens, so you get this. The book comes up, and it's this Mexican sly talking thing. It's you need to get together and you need to do this, and it's a Pixar funny film thing. And then so he's like, all right, you need to do collaboration. You have to do this level. And then what happens is you go into this the garage or something, and you see the vacuum cleaner, and it's oh, why did you stuff me in here? And the wife went, I thought you threw that away. You're supposed to fix that or whatever. And he was like, I just never got to it. So all these problems from their marriage and stuff, you have to
trickles out and you fight
trickles
against
out
it.
and you have to fight against it and stuff. And that was the first part. I was like, I get what this game is doing.
That's cool.
And this is awesome. So
I will say that my favorite mechanic of the game has been every level the characters get a new little twist.
Gimmick, a little gimmick.
And which makes it way more fresh than just being a platformer. Yeah. Because at first, when we first got our first gimmick, I thought that was who we were the rest of the game. And I was sitting there with my gimmick, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna love this. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then they took it away, and then I got a new one. And I was like, I really like this one. This time.
So he gets something. So for example, we got I got to shoot screws as the guy or whatever, and as what are the names? I forgot the names. Do you remember something? May is the girl.
Yeah, May's a girl.
I forgot the guy's name, but so
I got the hammer.
Jacob got the hammer, the end of the hammer. So they also have little mini games. I think that was an awesome part of A Way Out.
There's so many of them.
There's mini games that you don't have to do, really. They just are there, but you are They're mini competing things.
Nice.
So there was one called Whack the. I don't know.
Whack-a-mole.
It was a whack-a-mole. So there was holes all around Jacob, and Jacob was in the middle. And I had to pop up, and if I stayed up long enough, I got a point. And if he hit me, he got a point. So I kept trolling him and popping up really quick around here, and he's trying to hit me.
Oh my gosh!
We were cracking up on stream. So there's so many fun. There was the pull of rope or
the pull of rope one.
Tug of war.
That was I got destroyed in. It wasn't even fair.
So check that out if you want to see that.
What are you playing it on?
PC.
PC.
But what's cool is he doesn't own the game. I do, and this is what he did with A Way Out. We were able to just stream, and
Which, by the way, thank you for fixing that.
Yeah, it's a lot better. So there's a share thing. We did a share pass, so only one person has to own the game. Definitely recommend it. I think it's $40, $35, $40, but
yeah,
It Takes Two. Freaking loving this. So
yeah, good time.
Very good. What else you guys playing anything else?
I got a couple I can hit on real quick. Mobile games have been something I've been playing a little bit more of. Particularly in the Clash genre. You guys ever play Clash Royale, Clash of Clans before?
In college, a little bit of Clash of Clans.
I've heard you played some Clash of Clans before.
Yeah, you saw me go through the big peak of my addiction.
Yeah.
And Zach's getting text messages $40 was spent on Clash
of
Clans.
So we were on a family plan thing.
And, it's so embarrassing.
And it would pop up and I'd have to request it. Now they fixed that. But at first it was like, I'm going to have to take money. I need your money.
Yeah.
Charging my card.
But I think for me, it was more the embarrassment. Like, Zach knows I'm spending money on a microtransaction.
I knew everything of spending habits.
It's like Papa Zach has to approve of all my money habits.
I was the accountability part.
I'm no longer in the spot where I can just be dropping loads of cash on microtransaction games. But I will say this: the game has updated to the point where it's less grindy and it's less microtransaction.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that word is. You feel like you need microtransactions.
Yeah.
So I've been playing those a lot lately. I've enjoyed them. Clash Royale is more fun because it's a tower defense game, but it's a timed tower defense game. Yeah. Which I don't know if you guys ever played tower defense games at all.
No, like tower defense mini games and like games.
I played Flash games. I think
the Flash ones are common. For me, it's like again a good toilet game.
Plants vs. Zombies is kind of tower defense, right?
You know, a football game, a good little game here and there.
The Clash people, they made a game that was almost like D-Day, but like cartoony.
Boom Beach.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still popular. Apparently, they're making 4. They announced they had a big keynote. They're like, we're making 4 brand new Clash games, and everybody went wild. They're like, oh my gosh! I was like, is this game that popular? But I'm in a clan. These people take it so seriously, and I'm just trying to mooch off their troops. That's all.
So many of these mobile games, you'd be shocked. My dad is not what I would consider to be a gamer, but one day I was hanging out with him and we were talking about some like game he plays. Like it's like. I guess it's kind of like Risk, but it's with like real people. And he was like, he's like, our commander was getting mad about this. I was like, what are you talking about? And he starts showing me this chat they've got like on some old people thing. Yeah. Like World of Tanks. Like some of these things that I look at and I'm like, what is that? They have massive communities of people that take it dead serious.
I think the most shocking thing is I have a family member. I might have talked about this before, but I have a family member didn't even know that played games. The most un-video game guy I know. Like this, I couldn't explain. This guy is like not into
almost anti-video
games. I thought, and I got to talk to him, and it's like I found out that he plays that Final Fantasy game, and he's in one of the biggest clans, and he spent like over like $1,000 to do the thing, and I was like, what happened?
Well, what happened?
But like. I didn't even know the guy that played video games, and now he likes Final Fantasy, and he's really involved in that.
This guy...
go ahead.
Well, this guy I played with, his logic made sense. He was like, look, you're going to spend $9.99 to $14 on Hulu or Netflix. I don't have Netflix. So I'm going to spend $14 a month on Clash Clans.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have anything against it. It's just not for me personally.
It's just surprising,
It surprised me that
my
certain people...
sister was telling me, she's like, did you know her mom plays like this game where she's the mayor of a town and like spends money on all this stuff? And I asked about it. She's like, I just had to stop playing that. I was spending too much money. Like, and my mom has never touched a video game. Like, and I was like, what? Like, you're playing this Civ-looking game where you're controlling this town. Like, I think that... And Phil Spencer said this a lot. There are way more people that you don't consider to be gamers that are playing games that are out there. Mm-hmm. And that's why they want to try to get Game Pass on phones and streaming. Because it's like, you could open up things to people. Like Life is Strange could become available to people that would never buy a console and sit in front of a TV. But they'll use their phone and screw around on stuff. And it is. I think that we're in for emerging. It's happening already with like... what was that one game? It looks like Breath of the Wild. You played it a little bit.
Oh, is it the Capcom? Is it Capcom?
Genshin Impact, and so there's a big kind of blending of things happening.
Yeah. But there's a couple of blending things. We can talk about one of them, which we'll talk about a little bit more. The show has came out.
Yeah,
and it's a baseball game.
This is big.
Very big, but not only that, it's the first ever.
It's made by Sony. It's been made by Sony.
Made game that is hitting Microsoft. And playing on Xbox.
Do you know the full background of how this happened?
Apparently, it's like been a mixture of MLB pushing and like developers.
So there's been many baseball games for a long time because there's like 2K. There used to be an EA baseball game, and then there was the show. My whole childhood, I was not a PlayStation guy, but people always said the show. The show is like the best. It's like the ESPN 2K football for baseball. But it's made by Sony, so it's always been exclusive to PlayStation. And like I know people who are diehard Xbox people, like my father-in-law, who every year he's like, man, I'm thinking about buying the PS4 because the show is on there. And I really want to play it. And I've always just been like, that's kind of, it's interesting that they've got that ace in their hole. Well, what's been happening is is because all these other baseball games weren't as good as the show, slowly they started trickling off to where there reached a point the last 2 years where the show was the only baseball game that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the MLB realized that their only game was only on PlayStation and not on Xbox, they were like, no, you got to put it out on Xbox too. And so they stepped in and told Sony it had to be on Xbox. But not only that, they went the next mile, and Xbox was talking to MLB. It's like, well, we've got this Game Pass thing on our side. Like, this would be a great way to get in front of people. And they're like, let's do that. And so they made Sony put the game not only on Xbox, but on Game Pass day one.
So the show
when a PlayStation exclusive came out day one on Game Pass.
Now listen to this. The show is one of the top producing games that Sony makes.
Yeah, it makes a ton of money. It's
insane. The San Diego studio that produces it is one of their best games. It's what makes them the most money.
But what's crazy is, like, you said that, like, they've been trickling out, and there was other baseball games, but I look at MLB The Show, and I always hear good things overall about it.
It's a phenomenal game.
People love those games every year, to where it's like, why can't Madden, like, they sat on their hands.
Madden, that's what I've been saying.
It's like, MLB is kind of like a monopoly kind of thing.
You're stepping into
our territory.
Yeah, but it's like, why can't they figure it out?
Madden...
But MLB the show is good, and it almost has a monopoly.
Stop buying Madden every year.
Yeah, you're the problem.
You're the problem. The problem
this is why Madden's
we've got these scabs that'll go in. They'll go in and they'll talk a big talk, and then 2 days after it comes out, I had to buy it.
I have friends who want to play, and I have to beat them. Look, here's the thing. The show is great. Realistic baseball sim. I haven't played a baseball game since the show 17, 18. So I'm stepping into this like, how do you throw a pitch? Like, you know what I mean? But they have cool things where, like, if you played MLB 2K, they pitch by using the analog by doing certain directions. They reintroduced that to the show. So people who used to play on 2K can now, like, pitch the way they used to by using the analog stick.
Oh wow!
Which is really cool. But then they have the old classic stuff. They just have.
It reminds me of Skate to use the analog stick in a certain way. That's cool.
But they, I think the thing they introduced, which I love the most, is the zone hitting. So you have so when you're up the bat, it used to be that you hit X to get a regular swing, circle to get a contact, which is just kind of just get a hit on the ball.
Like a bunt?
And then, no, bunt's triangle. Contact's like you're just trying to stay alive because the count's full, and you don't really know the pitches. You're just trying to get the wood on it, and just trying to see where you get the ball. And then a square is your power hit. They introduced a concept where you have a little circle. And if you put the circle, like, above the ball, so it's like you hit the ball, right here's the ball, and you put the circle right here, what would you naturally do if you were batting? If you got underneath the ball, you would pop it up. So in the game, if you put the circle underneath the ball, you pop it up. If you put it on top, you hit it to the ground. Mm-hmm. So it's introduced a new concept where it's like, it's more realistic because you actually have to know where the ball is. You have to actually hit the ball.
That's cool.
It makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. But yeah, you guys will probably hear more of me talking about the show. I have a couple issues with it, but I want to see if it's actually going to get fixed or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Game Pass thing. I got a friend who has an Xbox, and he's like, I wish I could play the show. And I was on the phone with him this week, and I was like, you have an Xbox, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, do you have Game Pass? He's like, yeah, of course I have Game Pass. And I was like,
log in.
I was like, log in. It's right. The first
Check
game
it out.
It's
he texted me today. He's like, so we trying to play the show today? Like, because he was just like,
is Ziff crossplay?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Awesome.
I am playing with people who have Xboxes.
Now, and here's the craziest thing. When you watch, like, the trailer or you first start the game, it shows, like, the PlayStation Studios logo, and then it morphs into the Xbox logo. It is crazy.
I haven't seen that.
That's crazy.
So,
that is nice.
The show is cool. You're going to hear more about it. The only other update I have, giant update. Call of Duty Warzone entered its third season.
Yeah.
Call of Duty,
about it?
They nuked Verdansk.
Why are they always nuking something?
Well, here's the thing. Verdansk got over... So, Modern Warfare came out. That was what Warzone was based off of.
Yeah.
Then Cold War came out. What is Black Ops known for? Zombies. Mm-hmm. So, zombies overran Verdansk. They did a 3-day event. So, you couldn't play the game for 3 days. And it was stupid.
You couldn't play the game for 3 days?
So, the way they did it was weird. You know at Fortnite, they do these giant concerts and events to celebrate their new seasons?
Yeah.
Call of Duty was like, we're going to do a story mode for what's going on in Verdansk. Which was actually ended up being really cool. It just sucked because you couldn't play the game at certain times. But it was cool. The story was cool.
I still don't understand.
I'm going to explain to you. So, You jump into the game. You ever play Warzone? You guys play Warzone?
Yeah.
And what you try to kill other people.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was these zombies wrecked into the map. They overstarted, and the gas started overrunning the map. And if people died to the gas, they spawned in as zombies.
It was like Left 4 Dead.
And then now they play as a zombie trying to kill players.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was, when they loaded the event up...
You couldn't play the normal game.
You couldn't play the normal game, but it was for quite a while.
Okay.
Because it was 2 parts. So the first part was, you loaded the game up, and it said you had to capture a device. The second part, you loaded the game up, and you were flying in, and it was like, just survive. That's what came on the screen. So what happened was, you had to try to be the last squad against 150 other people as they turned into zombies.
Yeah.
So if you died, they became a zombie. So what happened was, it turned into pure chaos. I'm watching people who are pro gamers, make millions, and they're screaming like little girls because they can't do what you normally do. You can't really snipe a guy while getting hit by a zombie in the back. Yeah. And what was cool was you became a zombie. You became a Call of Duty zombie, which is the thing you guys always played for a long time. So they nuked the map, and then the map went backwards. So now we're playing in 1984. But what was cool, which I know I'm going... If you guys anybody ever play a Battle Royale game, you played...
Did it change to feel more like Black Ops?
Yes, but it still has a Black Ops skin, Modern Warfare feel.
Okay.
That makes sense?
I like the Black Ops feel, but...
Well, here's what I'm going to say. You've played Destiny. You've played online shooters.
Yeah.
The one thing that always ruins, an online community is metas. And here's why I say this. When a meta becomes... A, stays too long, or B, becomes too overpowered, you're forced to run it. You are because you cannot compete.
Yeah.
So you
have to cycle things out.
Yeah. So when Destiny, there was a sniper meta and then a shotgun meta. There were different things that.
Yeah.
For them,
but now they move weapons out of rotation, so it's always fresh. Yeah.
Call of Duty doesn't do that.
Well, Call of Duty is pretty one straight. This is the way the gameplay flows.
Yeah.
Right.
But the issue was that there were guns that became access to them, and there was a certain 2 guns that became the best guns to use. And if you didn't use these guns, you were losing. There was a gun called the M16. It's a 3-round burst gun. And if you got shot in the head with it, it killed you like a sniper.
Yeah.
That's a problem because it's an AR. And then there was another AR that moved like an SMG, but it killed faster than an SMG. So what happened was everyone in the game was running an M16 and an FFAR. And the game just became very bland and toxic for a period of 8 months. So now they came out, a very long time. Well, actually, it's ruined Battle Royale games. Fortnite and all these other games that struggled. Mainly Fortnite hit the worst wall of it. That's why not a lot of people play that game anymore. But they came out, they nerfed a bunch of guns, and they rebalanced everything to now it's all these people. I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Warzone TikTok, and everybody's like, "This is the new meta." And then I scroll up and no, this is the new meta.
Yeah. Well, it's a new season.
Yeah, there's no meta.
There will be a meta. One always forms
be a meta.
because people grind and they figure out what the best thing is. There's always a best thing.
And it happens, but I think what I'm enjoying right now is that there's no meta, so I can just do whatever I want, and I'm going to have fun with it. So I run around with a riot shield and 2 swords, and I just chuck stun grenades at people and just chop them up in half, and it's this is fun. I'm having fun. I'm not worried about
Maybe you discovered the new meta.
Sweating. No, it's not the meta at all. It's deadly not the meta. But I just enjoy it because that's what ruins these games, these online communities, is when companies do not change things.
Yes, metas don't ruin games. It's when they let it sit and gets too stale.
Yeah, they need to be updated after a while, or people get lost in
that
same little rhythm. Yeah.
Still no anti-cheat.
Which I was going to ask you, maybe that's what's happening to Destiny. I don't know if you've seen news. I was seeing on Reset Era, some people are very mad at Destiny.
People are very mad at Destiny right now. And actually, it has nothing to do with meta or gameplay or anything. What it is in Destiny, and I haven't been playing this season, but I did read up to understand. And
what was this?
In Destiny, it's been a long-standing complaint from everybody that your armor has the way it looks, but then it has stats.
Yeah.
And so if you get good rolls of certain armor pieces, you're going to use your best rolls.
Yeah.
But you then are very limited in what you can visually look like. Mm-hmm. So you have a vault full of armor, but you can't just use whatever armor that you think looks cool.
Okay.
Because you really need to use the armor that has the best stats.
Yes.
So World of Warcraft 20 years ago had this problem, and they solved it with something called transmog. And so transmog is basically you can take the way something looks, and you can take an armor's stats and you can put them together for like whatever, like a price, like whatever, like glimmer, whatever.
I hate this problem in video games.
Whatever,
yeah,
but it's a way of solving that.
Oh, sorry.
So a year ago, the guys from Destiny said, we are gonna do transmog in this game. We hear you. And they've teased it for years, and it's like, just do it. Either do it or don't do it. But stop So they said, and so they've been building it, and they've been telling people, hey, you can safely, like, if you've got stuff in your vault that you like the way it looks, but you don't like the stats, you can go and delete it. It's going to be based on your account historically. Like, so people have been deleting the armor and all this stuff, like, that they like to look up, but
this didn't work out.
Well, so they finally announced how you do it, and it is the most, number one, this is not going to surprise anyone, the most needlessly complicated part. You have to run a mission to get a thing, and then take that thing and go do a thing and grind it up. And then it's capped. You can only do it with a set number of pieces per season. So it's not even like...
It's like every 9 months.
If you wanted to do like 4 different outfits...
What was the reasoning?
Because they make everything complicated.
It's always a grind in that game.
I saw someone tweet, they said, Bungie's implementation of transmog is needlessly complex, totally misunderstands what their fan base likes about the game, and is infuriating. And I said, you could take out transmog and put their game design. Because every single thing that Bungie rolls out, they spend way too much time in their little lab deciding how it should work. And then they present it, and it's a fart, and everybody's mad. And then they put out a blog and say, we hear you. It's going to have to launch this way. And then they get it right 3 months later, and everybody's happy. And then there's a period of peace. And then the next thing
they fart again.
And it's because, look, it's a big company. This is not hard. You have to involve your community when you're making these things.
Yeah.
But they have this thing, and I could make an hour-long YouTube documentary about, they believe...
You're about to pop a blood vessel.
They think they're trying to be Tarantino, but make, like, the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be stuck up and do it your way... You're not going to be able to do it with this type of a game. But everything when they roll out, well, this is our vision for our game. It's like, well, you know what? You're making a service-based game. It's not really your game.
Here's the thing.
And so, it's needlessly complex, and that's what people are mad about.
Yeah, that makes
ultimately, it's costumes, so it's not really the end of the world. But
people love their cosmetics.
Now that you mentioned the transmog thing, I was seeing that it was like money involved.
What it is you can, instead of doing all of the mission and the grind, you can go to the Eververse and pay. And so here's the fundamental debate. A season of Destiny costs $10, and there's 4 seasons a year. And then their annual expansion is always like 40 to 60, whatever. Well, nothing is pay to win in the game. You can't buy guns. You couldn't buy that game and throw $1,000 at it and get all the guns I have.
Yeah.
You missed those seasons. You have to grind and stuff. But all of the cosmetic stuff and all the cool looking skins and all the cool looking ornaments and stuff, you have to pay for, or you get a little bit of like the paid currency every season pass when you get it. And so it's a big debate of like, we pay $60 for the annual expansion. We pay $10 per season. So you spend $100 on the game a year and you get access to a lot of good content. But all of this cosmetic stuff, I have to pay more.
If you want to speed run
it. To speed run it.
And that's what I was seeing. People were like, it takes so long.
It's like either raise the cost of the seasons but they will never do that, because that's what the Destiny community is saying right now is like, we will pay more, just raise the cost of the seasons. But they're never going to do it because there are people that spend thousands of dollars on that game and they're not going to cut off that revenue source.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. And
that's the dicey part you get into any of these type of pay games.
Online gaming.
Yeah, when you got that, I think that was the thing even with, and I think they actually ended up doing it right. I think they fixed it. What was the game that came on PS4 at launch? Started with the W.
Warhammer?
What was it? The FPS?
Oh, Warframe.
Didn't they have something like that?
Well, here's the difference with Warframe. Warframe is free to play. And all the expansions are free, but it is pay to win.
Okay.
You can pay money and buy the guns straight up.
Okay.
Or you can grind to get the guns. But it's a fundamentally different game in that if you have unlimited time, you can play that game and get anything you want. Like my buddy Sam, He put 400 hours in that game and got all the guns he wanted, never dropped a dime.
Yeah.
Right? There are other people that will drop $300 and get all the guns.
I think that's the difference, because I think even in the documentary they talked about how they could have made more money doing
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You have to make a choice as a company. It's like that's where it gets hard, because it's like, well, now that people's livelihoods in it.
But Warframe, here's what I respect about them. They don't try to play it both ways. Yeah. They will come out and say, our game is grindy and our game is complex, and you do need to get on Reddit and talk with people to figure out how to play it. But we are never going to charge you money to play our game. Yeah. We're going to charge you money if you want to do stuff faster in our game. Yeah. And I respect that, because Destiny...
That's their vision.
And I love Destiny. And also Warframe...
You know what you're getting into. Where Destiny is like, hey,
they iterate, and if their player base starts doing something... The player base in Warframe found this glitch where they could slide and then dive, and it made them like float. And like they at first were like, that is not what we want them doing. They're moving through these missions too fast. But they were like, but people love this so much that they made it a mechanic to where now you can do this ninja float thing. Mm-hmm. Bungie's the opposite. When players start doing stuff that they don't like, they get super defensive and like they stamp it out and they say, you are not allowed to do this in this game. Yeah. And so that's where it's just very different companies. Yeah. Warframe, it's free to play. They totally let you pay to win if you want to. Yeah. But Destiny, they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They want to be Halo and Call of Duty, and they charge you for your expansions in your game, but also the cosmetic stuff. And it's, I don't know. I love Destiny, but I've been taking a break from it. And right when I think about playing it again,
right
when I think about playing it again, I see this stuff happen, and I'm like,
you're with friends right now.
Yeah,
you're loved.
Well, some companies are making a lot of money from making games, and some companies are not making much at all. Super Seducer 3 came out, and it did not make what it thought it was going to make.
It's sad.
Richard D. Rena, something like that. Famous pickup artist. He made Super Seducer 1 and 2, obviously, that we have streamed on the channel. Obviously, some of the funniest freaking moments in video game history for us that I've experienced. It's basically teaches you how to, in different situations, pick up women and how to navigate the dating world.
And even in addition to that, I know you're about to explain some stuff. One of the things I love about those games is that guy is not a games guy. Mm-hmm. He comes from a different, like, comedy, kind of acting, kind of pickup artist. Like, and games needs more of that. It needs more people that are coming from other lanes and then make a game.
Yeah.
So it's a damn shame what has happened.
Yeah.
Because this will make other people be like, do I want to mess with games if this can happen to me? But
so there was a controversy because this was supposed to come to Steam. I was waiting to pre-order this thing, all this, whatever. On Twitter, I was following him, and he was like, hey, they haven't approved this. And then the controversy came out that they were not going to approve them. And he was like, hey, if the game is delayed, we have to send a new version because it got censored. Now, if you played some of these games, there are scantily dressed women, and there was going to be even more in this one. But he talked whatever, and he was like, hey, we're going to have a censored version and an uncensored version. Censored version, you should stream. We're going to censor stuff so you don't get in trouble from Twitch or whatever. And then we're going to have a uncensored version. Waited. He finally made an update. Here's the update. It's not coming out. They are not accepting this on Steam. And then they also had Super Seducer 1 and 2 coming into the Switch, and Nintendo kind of followed suit, and they were like, we're not.
I'm surprised that just Switch was going to take 1 and 2. Wow.
Yeah, they were going to have, 1 and 2 on there. So he was like, I'm at a loss. I don't know what we're going to do. Check back in, whatever. And he put it out on a website called Games Planet. I picked it up as soon as I could. And I'm also going to support them. There is like, I just saw this the other day. There is like a DLC that you can get for it. And it's like kind of the behind the scenes. And I love the behind the scenes. Super Seducer 2's behind the scenes I like played after I beat the game. And there was like a cool... all it was him actually on his iMac like screen recording on QuickTime. But it was him talking in depth about each level. Like, this is what happened during production. And me as a video guy, I like that.
Yeah.
As a video game guy, it's like, oh, we had to do this and whatever else. I loved that. So I'm definitely getting this. But we came back again. Me, Travis, and our awesome wives, Elsie and Jessica, joined us for Super Seducer 3. I think we might try to do that a couple more times, whatever, in the future. But very fun, again.
Yeah.
It was a shame that all this like happened to him. So if you liked our streams and stuff, check out that game, Games Planet, and throw him a couple bucks to try to. He's basically trying to make his money back. He's not whatever. And what's a bigger shame is on Twitter after this happened, in the game, he keeps talking about Horror Seducer. There's like a mini plot.
Yeah.
He's like talking when the girl's like, oh, I'm making a game called Horror Seducer. Well, that was actually the plan. After Super Seducer 3, he was going to make like a horror choose your adventure kind of thing with like seduction, kind of like the dating stuff involved. And it was going to be live action. And he put on Twitter the teaser they had done for it. But now he's like, we're scrapping that because we cannot trust these platforms to accept this. And it's like, why are they accepting these games and violent games and extremely gory? But they and like there's also weird anime dating.
Yeah,
there's a level
that are like.
Unfortunately, there's a level of politically correctness that goes into this.
I mean, that's absolutely what was happening. It's like, why won't they accept this and they accept all this other stuff?
But it's important to like note, this is live action and it is comedic.
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Nothing is played as there. He's not like spiking any women's drinks.
Nope. Yeah,
he's not like doing anything devious. Well, in the sense of like. Anything that he's doing that is definitely something that would be totally inappropriate to do.
He would tell you.
He plays number one. He tells you would never want to do this. It's a really bad idea. But he also plays it for laughs. Of like they play it to 11. Of like this is the most ridiculous thing you could do.
Yeah.
Of like any woman would totally Are there like shots on the girls' butts? Yes, but this is a game.
Yes.
Like. Go put on any show or Bad Boys or whatever, and it's in Miami. They start putting the camera on girls' butts. Like, what grade are we in? Like, seriously, that we are going to deplatform this game.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of messed up. But overall, awesome game. It's a shame that he probably is done with games.
I hate to hear that because it sounds like number one, these games were really creative. Sounds like he was going to even keep doing more stuff. And again. I think that we need more variety in video games.
And maybe he'll come back and not do like what got him in trouble was kind of the sexually explicit things or whatever. So maybe he comes back and doesn't do any of that. But at the same time, he probably doesn't trust them anyways. Like, what can I get on? What's going to
they never seemed to give him a reason why they rejected this one.
Yeah, they never gave a good reason.
So what if they just reject him again because he's the same company?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. So he might be done. I mean, it sounds like at this point he is done. But very freaking fun. Still some big laughs. It's
still the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in a game was that.
I do want to say, so we did the censored version of the stream, which is really funny because in past games when he would explain, you do a choice and he would go to him like in a screen and whatever. In the first game, people like got onto him because he'd have scaly girls in the bed if he did good. And then if they did bad, the women weren't there or they were more dressed up.
Yeah.
In the second one, they went away from that totally. And then the third one, they went back to that and hit it up to 11.
Yeah.
Because all of the girls are in lingerie. So when it went to we played the censored version, it was him. And then everything around him was blurred.
And it was like a little circle for his face. Yeah.
You saw him and everything else was censored to the point when it would cut to the other shots, it was completely censored.
Yeah.
Because it just was a girl in just lingerie. So I was dying laughing at that. And the other night, I was like, I'm going to boot this up. And there was a level that you couldn't even play because the entire level was censored. I played that the other night. I want to give you guys my review.
Oh, yeah.
It was softcore porn.
No.
It was straight up, like, very borderline, like, to the point where it's like, maybe this is why you didn't get on Steam. I don't know. It was legit, like,
I would argue that probably
stuff or whatever.
Probably why he didn't make it on Steam. But I will say there are still stuff.
Well, he even talked on Twitter, and this was maybe what he mentioned now that I played it. He was like, should I take this level out? Like, maybe that was the stuff, and that still wasn't getting covered. I think they put that version on Steam, and it wasn't even in there. So, I mean, that's why they released it on games playing at the censored level. But there you go. Super Seducer 3.
Well, if you don't piss some people off, you're not pushing the envelope, and he's definitely pushing the envelope. So.
Yeah. I have played PlayStation VR. I'm back on the PlayStation VR because PlayStation did an awesome thing. They did, not only are they making games for Xbox, they are making games free. They did a PlayStation Play at Home
a lot of stuff
special, and there was like 8 free games. Mm-hmm. Plus, I think Ratchet & Clank was free last week, and I think they're adding Horizon Zero Dawn is free now. You can just have that. You don't even need PlayStation Plus. And I think they are like very slowly climbing. They're going to be doing a Game Pass type thing.
Yeah, why not?
But I think I kind of agree with their strategy in that it's different than Xbox. Xbox can just have all these third parties and have like buy up all these things and do all this. Where Sony is spending quadrillions of dollars on God of War. They're not going to maybe do that on day one of Game Pass, but maybe a year later or 2 years later, they're going to like have that as a free, on a Game Pass type deal.
Yeah.
Or PlayStation Plus. But in that 8 games, there was 2 I wanted to play. One in particular, and that was Paper Beast. And I saw this game, and I've seen people tweet about it, and I was like, this kind of looks right up my alley. It's kind of like an adventure game. But then I saw another thing, like, is this a simulation game? And it's these little beasts, of course, made out of paper. Mm-hmm. Like, they're almost like origami walking creatures. And I was like, what is this game? So for free, that's the price for me. So I booted that up the other night. That game blew me away. I beat it the other night. It's kind of a longer VR kind of experience than what I'm used to. But it is an adventure game. There's a sandbox simulation mode is what I got confused on. But it is part puzzle. So it's like these beasts walk around and you have to like get certain beasts to this thing. But it is the most trippy, like crazy like thing that goes on. And it's my type of ending. By the way, like the ending of this game and where it ends up is like this was a Zack Pipe game. Like the weirdness of it, how you feel when you're in this world and seeing these giant things walk over top of you. It reminds me of PS1. Like, PSVR still reminds me of those weird 3D, like, what am I playing? Like, I've never experienced this thing in my life, like, this type of entertainment. It's very PS1-esque of, like, what can we do? How can we push the envelope with some of the graphics and what we're doing? Very, like, highly recommend if you have PlayStation Plus, I think it's PlayStation Plus you get the play at home games, but definitely check that out for free.
Yeah.
And then I played Res Infinite. And I've never been a Res guy, and I kind of played some of the demo stuff, and I was like, okay, it's kind of a music kind of rhythm game. But you just kind of hold a button, and it's like you move stuff around, you let it go, and you move stuff around. Have you played Res? Have you guys played?
No,
but
no,
it's like,
not really.
It's kind of like beats are going, and you like hold a button down, and you like move the cursor around to like track. You know how like if you have a missile in a video game, it tracks several targets, and you let go of the button, it does that. That's kind of what the game is. And I never really got it. I was like, this is kind of like fun to experience.
Yeah.
Res Infinite on VR, I got it. Like, it clicked. Because I'm, like, going with the beat, and you are, like, using your head to track all that stuff. And I'm, like, bump, 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 and I'm keeping with the beat, and you're, like, shooting stuff out. Like, that's how you're, like, moving the guy and shooting the stuff out. I had a great time with, like, totally wrapped up in this, like, Y2K, like, graphics world.
I want to check that out, and I think it's also was released for free, Thumper.
Was that on there too?
It's a VR game.
It's in VR.
Oh,
that is I played Thumper in not VR and had a great time with it. I had some qualms with it, but I would recommend that, especially in VR.
I think I played the demo of Thumper, so I'll definitely get that.
I'm really surprised you haven't dished out Tetris Effect.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
Awesome.
I want to get that.
Tetris Effect is a.
Did they give that for free?
No, but it's still. Man, it's worth it.
I've almost kept up with everything on PSVR. Like, I've gotten all the main games.
Get Tetris Effect. That's really good.
And I will get that. I will end up getting that because I've got everything I've got on PSVR.
The music on that game
music's good.
So
I might go home and boot up my PSVR because I hooked it all up, and now I've got the Oculus. I want to play Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of that Marquette game you were talking about. I messed around with it a little bit, and I don't know. It is kind of like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, where you kind of come up and they're kind of talking and telling the story. I don't know about the story so far, but I did think it was cool, like
moving
the scale.
The scale stuff is cool.
That really, and even I kind of knew you told me that's what it would be like. It was cool when I first started kind of solving some of it. So
I ended up giving that game a butt, I think was my review for it.
I don't think it's like great.
I give it a butt, but it was fun with the scale stuff was fun, and like when you figure out stuff out, it's a cool like, oh yeah, that clicks, that or whatever. But that's all I've been playing for this month. Oh, I did pick up, or I actually returned to. I've been playing. I finished Bowser's Fury. I got 100% of that.
How long did that end up being?
It only took me like 6 hours, 5 hours to 100% everything. Awesome. It is a short little slice thing, and they are definitely doing the next Mario open world. This was so awesome the way they did this. So fun. The way you get around to these different like levels and stuff. It's like one like giant ocean, and you have different like levels in this ocean. You use the Plessy from Super Mario 3D World, that like dragon thing, and you jump. You can go to the other levels, and there's like things it can do. Like you can do a little time trial, or like a little thing with the Plessy or whatever. This is what they're going to do, a Breath of the Wild thing with like they're going to have Mario in this open world now.
I need to check that out because I've been playing through 3D World and having fun with it. I'm probably halfway through 3D. I'm on World 4. How many worlds are in 3D World?
8 or something like
that.
that.
I'm in World 4.
I've been playing that still, too. And I beat that before 100%. I'm going to 100% it again.
That's a great game.
It's very fun with friends, too, and stuff. So I went back single player and was getting all the stars I missed and stamps. So it was really fun. But that's fun. But one thing I was going to say was, with the Switch has been a weird console for me. I've loved it. I've loved like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and playing these games, and Link's Awakening. Awesome. My issue with it, and I don't think anybody else had this issue, I actually got all the Wii U games when they came out and played those. A lot of the Switch library is these Wii U ports. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I'm not getting Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I already own for Wii U, whatever. But I'm now at the point where it's like 7 years since I played these games. Like, well, maybe I do want to have this on the go or have it on my Switch and replay it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. Is I'm playing a ton of my Switch. I'm in the Nintendo mode big time. So I went back and I've been playing Smash Brothers. I'm almost unlocked all the characters. Every time we play Smash Brothers, Jacob's like, you haven't opened up like half the characters.
I know.
So I'm playing adventure mode on that. I'm having a ton of fun playing, like I said, Super Mario 3D World. I'm wanting to get. Have you guys seen Ring Fit Adventure?
I've seen that. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get that.
I've seen people put that on their Game of the Year awards.
Yeah, that is. Great workout, and it sounds like a natural progression of the Wii Fit kind of stuff. So I think I'm gonna get that, and then I do want to get Super Mario Maker 2. I do want to go back to Tropical Freeze. I want to play Mario Kart Deluxe. Like Zach was over last week or whatever, and we all hung out and we played Mario Kart Deluxe, and I was like, maybe I will return.
That's
Mario
a great
Kart.
game.
And so now all these Wii U games, it's time. It's been 7 years, 8 years since I played some of these.
Back.
I think I'm ready to play these games again. I'm gonna buy them again. So.
The one Wii U game that I really wanted to play, and maybe time's passed it by at this point, and it never came out on the Switch, was Xenoblade Chronicles X.
That has to come. I feel
when I watched you play that, I was just like, this looks so cool. Like, it just looked so...
I'm holding out that that's still coming. That game was incredible. It had the biggest sense of accomplishment I've ever had in a video game since maybe Demon Souls games. Souls games or whatever. Of like when you get that mech, it takes so long to get the freaking mech that you see on the cover. But when you get it, you feel like you saved up your money for a freaking new like Tesla. Is what you feel like. When you get that, I've never felt that sense of accomplishment. And how that opens up the world, I think that'll come to Switch.
Yeah, I would play it. Because then they made Xenoblade Chronicles, and I was like, do I want to play that one? And I was like, I don't know. It looks like a JRPG. I'm sure it's good, but... I don't know. I got plenty of games already I own that I'm trying to get through. So
I'm in a Nintendo mode big time. Lately.
I've been in a Nintendo mode too, and then I've been playing a little bit of Yakuza 0 here and there. I'm kind of where I'm now kind of seeing as the second protagonist.
We're good. That thing's blinking.
Okay.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Ignore that.
But I've been playing Yakuza 0.
Yakuza 0.
Yakuza 0.
Yakuza.
1, 2.
I've been playing Yakuza 0 here and there, which is a good game. I like it. It makes me laugh. It is a lot of reading at times. So like sometimes I'm like, if it's like 10 o'clock at night and it's like, do I want to play something for an hour? It's like, it's a hard game to jump in and like do an hour. Like I feel like it's good if I've got a long stretch of time I want to hang out and really sit in that world and play it. So I've been kind of stop-starty on that. I didn't play it hardly at all with the class I've been in. But then I was like, really, I'm trying to keep pace with the things that have been coming out this year. And there was a game that I bought that technically came out, was it last year or the year before? I don't know. But Disco Elysium is a game that obviously was really highly regarded, Game of the Year stuff. But I skipped it because I wasn't quite sure I wanted to play it. And the reason why is because I heard it was a lot of reading. Like that was what I heard about it, because it is a very different game. Like it's basically like a computer RPG, but you don't really fight. It's more like story based, and you're talking, and then like you do these dice rolls for like you have all these voices in your head, and like you do these dice rolls of like what voice is going to take over, and make you do what decision or do stuff. It's really, really creative. But when I saw how much reading it was, it's like reading a book, and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. But then I heard that this year they were releasing a free update called the Final Cut, that has full voice acting for all the voices in your head, all the characters. And so I was reading a little bit about that earlier this year, and I was like, I'm going to get the game. So it was on the Epic Games Store for like on sale for like $18 over Christmas. So I bought it and was going to wait until that Final Cut came out. And that Final Cut came out last week. So I downloaded that and started playing it. And this game, I think that the best way I could describe it is it feels like there was like an alien world where they're making these RPGs that like we just got one of their games. Like it is weird because it's like a CRPG, but it is like in this weird like post-communist, like the setting is weird. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of almost like I've never played Dishonored, but like kind of like it's hard to pinpoint. Like, is this in the past or in the future? Super creative setting, really, really well done writing so far. At first I was like, is this going to be really pretentious and like quote a bunch of communist people all the time? And there is some of that, but like you play as a cop, which is interesting in the world that we're in today. Mm-hmm. And they immediately are playing on some of that of like, you're a cop and like you're a detective and there's this other detective and like you're in this weird like post-communist society. And these unions have like run amok and are like running and like people are getting lynched and like you're investigating these like labor unions. Mm-hmm. And like it is so trippy and weird. But I am like creativity is an 11 on this game. They are so creative with what they're doing.
I think the world sounds cool, but I watched gameplay and trailer, and I didn't know if the gameplay was for me and rolling the dice. I think it was a lot of the reading too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, what is there's no combat.
Yeah, no, it is
you're
very
rolling dice and stuff.
It's very much getting in this mood and in this vibe of getting in this character and figuring out like there's like all these different character traits you could pick from.
Okay.
And so you pick those things based on what you're kind of interested in, and they're really varied. Like I made like one of mine like Inland Empire. So my detective like has this very inward imagination, and so things in the world take on personalities. So like there's like this necktie hanging from the ceiling fan, and so I grab it and I put it on. The necktie starts speaking to me and it's like, you should go jump out that window, like telling me to do crazy stuff. You have to do dice rolls of whether or not you listen to it. Yeah. And it's like, if I didn't pick Inland Empire, that wouldn't be...
like you're rolling dice?
No, you don't actually roll dice. You come up on certain situations and you can do a skill check. And you either pick that thing or you don't. And it just tells you your percentage chance to have the effect you want.
So... what is the gameplay? You're just like you roll the dice.
I'm an hour and a half in, and the gameplay is
like a choose your own adventure.
Walking around this hotel, definitely there's some choose your own adventure, kind of exploring.
Do you fight?
You're a detective. You're trying to solve a murder.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't fight. At least so far, I don't know if you can get a gun and fight, but like you're trying to solve a murder. So like I came up and I found the body, and it was funny because like this other detective shows up and he's like, "Have you taken the body out of the tree yet?" And you're like. You basically wake up and you have amnesia. So, like, you're seeing all this stuff your character's been doing, but you don't remember any of it. And you're like, what body? You have all these different options. And it's like, this guy's been dead for a week and you've been here. You're supposed to take the body down. You didn't take it down. And it's like, do you want to, like, fake it till you make it? Do you want to, like, just act like you did it? You can lie. Be like, yeah, I took it down. Yeah. And then you go around and the body's still in the tree. And he's like, why did you lie? Like, you can just, like, lie and then, like, immediately get caught in the lie and be these super awkward situations. Yeah. But it's like a murder, and so like you're trying to find clues of what happened. You're like there was a part where I had to call, like I didn't have the guy's like, "Where's your badge? Can I see your badge?" And I'm like, "I don't have my badge." He's like, "You lost your badge?" He's like, "Well, that's okay. It's not like you lost your gun." And then your character's like, "Oh my god, I don't have my gun." And then it's like, "What do I say?" And it's like, "Yeah, good thing I didn't lose my gun." Like, but then so he's like, "Well, you better call that in." So like. You have options. You can go look at the body. So like I go to the truck and he's like, so I call in. It's like I talk to this witness, but then I call my precinct and they're like,
well, this kind of sounds maybe more like my game then.
I think you would like it. I think with the voice acting, you would like it.
When I heard it was like rolling dice stuff, it's like, I thought that was more like
you're not number crunching anything. It's not like strategy focused at all. It's character vibe storytelling. It is that. It is that.
Maybe I'll check it out then.
Yeah, so that's Disco Elysium. I'm excited to play it some more. But
nice, Disco Elysium. You guys been watching anything?
Yeah, I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I just finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which that show I would say was good. I would say it was good. It had some stuff I really liked. Some of the writing was a little messy. You can tell this was a show. I have been saying for a while that like I think that we're going to get almost like a writer's strike type thing with some of the stuff that starts coming out. I think this had that. I was reading online because basically the setup of the show is it's after Endgame. It's a Marvel show, and it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and basically the Falcon gave up the shield to the government, and then the government gave the shield to this other guy named John Walker, who becomes a new Captain America. I think we talked about that last time. And so basically where the direction the show goes is it's just all these different people who, it's very post, like you don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are. There's like these kids that are like these Antifa type kids that are like getting this super soldier serum, but then they're like blowing up buildings, but they're like, you feel bad for them, but they're also like literally killing people. And you got this new Captain America who's like kind of like white privilege as a character, but you also kind of like him. You know, he's kind of got likable traits, but he does some stuff that really get him in trouble. And it ended up being good, but it was messy. And I felt like a lot of the writing of the villains stuff was messy a little bit, of like people would disappear for like a whole episode and then they'd come back for like a second. And it felt very jittery of like, I like a lot some of the main character work going on, but some of the side characters feel really haphazard. And then I read online, this show supposedly had a pandemic subplot, was what the villains were trying to do.
Whoa.
So
bad time to do that.
I heard that they spent a lot of last year quickly rewriting and refilming it. And so it is effective. It is a good show. Like, I do think it's a good show, but I can definitely see some of the weird edges of like, there is a weird subplot where they're stealing vaccines, but then like they never really resolved what was happening with it. And then there's a scene where like one of the main bad girls, she's just a girl, but like she's the bad guy, she's the antagonist, like somebody that she loves is dying in a hospital, and it's like they kind of just play it as she's old, but like there's a lot of people in this like hazmat thing, and it's like, why is she dying? Like, and now it's like, oh, she definitely was dying of this pandemic thing. So like it's weird. It's like you can, when you know, without knowing that, you're like, this was a good show, but it was kind of messy. But then knowing it, it's like, yeah, they definitely like had to redo some
I found
things.
out something this week that reminded me of that. At the end of the Goonies, did you know there was a whole thing where an octopus showed up? Have you guys seen the Goonies?
I've seen it, but I don't remember an octopus.
At the end, they have that awesome, like, amazing set in that ship. That ship or whatever.
I remember that.
But there, right at the end, an octopus shows up, like in that same area, and grabs the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they get rid of the octopus because he sticks a mini disc player in the mouth of the squid. But like, they didn't need it at that. Like, there was no sense. But at the very end of the movie, they have that television reporter, and he's like, "Oh, how'd you do this? Whatever." And it's like, "Well," and blah blah blah, and then the octopus, and it was like the octopus, the octopus. So for years, people were like, "That doesn't make sense," but then they found out, like, "Oh yeah, there was that other subplot." They took that completely out of the movie, but it didn't make sense because that television interview in the middle of that. But I saw somebody comment, or maybe it was that same video I saw, somebody was like, well, it kind of does make sense because kids kind of like, when they talk up things, like, hey, we saw this. It's like, I think they skated by on that. Because I think that actually doesn't run it at all.
Well, and what you're touching on is something that I actually love learning about this stuff is the way these things get made is messy.
Yes.
Pandemic or not pandemic, 80s or whatever, octopus. One of my favorite examples of this is, you guys remember the movie Wild Wild West? With Will Smith from like the 90s.
I never watched it.
But like there was like this big like metal spider in that movie. Okay, so I always remember as a kid like, that's weird. Like, why is there a big metal spider? That's weird. I don't know. Cowboys.
Kevin Smith stuff?
Yeah. So apparently, in the 90s, there was a movie called Death of Superman that was written by Kevin Smith. J.J. Abrams was supposed to be involved in it. A long time ago, in the late 90s. It was going to be one of J.J. Abrams' first movies. And Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman. It's called Death of Superman.
And there's footage online of him in that Superman suit.
And the end was going to be Lex Luthor and a big metal spider. Well, they built that metal spider, and they had it all on set, and then the movie got canceled. And so when Wild Wild West was happening, they had this other idea for the third act, and the producers basically said, you guys are going to use this metal spider that we made for Superman, and you're not going to spend any more money. And so, like, that kind of stuff is happening at the studio level all the time. Like, hey, that thing you wanted to do? No, you're going to use this thing that was made for a different movie because we're not spending money for you to make this other thing.
Yeah, it's
this
fun.
Is close
It's
enough.
interesting because you'll watch and you're like, what happened? I mean, I hope we get that one day for, and we kind of did with that extra episode, but with Metal Gear. I don't know if we ever will.
Yeah.
It's more private there with Japan and how they run things, but like, I want to see like what, you can see certain edges on that game too. I'm like, that was going to go.
Where was that going? Yeah.
But.
But in the end, Falcon Winter Soldier was really good. I will say this. I know you don't really care about Marvel. Jacob, you should really watch this show.
Yeah, I haven't watched WandaVision yet.
And the reason I'm going to say this is these shows that they're doing, I don't know. When they first announced the shows, I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be like you can watch the shows, but you can skip them and just watch the movies. These shows are doing extremely crucial stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know when the next Avengers movie comes out. If you haven't seen these shows, I don't know how you're.
I gotta watch
them. You might be lost like me, Jacob.
I just haven't watched a lot. Yeah. I've watched Hell's Kitchen. I caught up on that. Great show.
I love Hell's
Kitchen. He's still mean.
Season 19 was top notch.
Wait, was that the one with Brett?
No, that was season 18.
Me and Jess watched 2/3 of the season with Brett.
Brett's awesome.
That show was great. I still don't know who won that season.
Oh, is that the All-Star show?
The All-Star.
Bro, All-Star season is awesome. You need to finish
My favorite one was when that guy had to go home because he had like a panic attack. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, Todd had to go home. And Brett's like.
Hey, man, this was for Todd, man.
This was for Todd.
Hey guys, come on. You can't serve like that. This is for Todd, man. It's Hell's Kitchen is just one of those shows where I'm like, because let's be honest, you get 20 chefs who are way better than everyone else out there.
But they make them look like
dog
look crap.
Like morons.
They make them look like dog crap. Well, they will do the right thing 90% of the time, and they will show the one thing they mess up.
Well, because they'll get in the line. And I guess I don't realize it because when you work in an expedited restaurant where like, you cook according to the tickets that come in, not based on like what's the easiest to get out. Because you go to Applebee's and you have an order that comes in and it's like an 8 top, but then you have a guy come up from the bar. The bar food's going to get cooked first because it's just easier to get out quicker.
Sure.
The 8 top will get worked on, but you got to put a lot more stuff in the microwave and crap like that for them. So when you look at expedited restaurants, first table that comes on, first table that gets done. So if that first table gets behind, everything else falls behind with it. So you can end up sitting there for 3 hours waiting to eat. So you get these chefs in who like private chef, executive chef, cook for Ja Rule kind of chef. They get in there and they're like, what do you mean 4 minutes to the pass? And they're like sitting there, they're stirring mashed potatoes for 20 minutes the entire time.
They're trying to make this perfect dish and these like...
I will say some of the chefs in there, and I don't know a lot about the culinary world, but
I do.
some of the chefs in there, I get the impression that they do more private stuff than they do work in restaurants.
But
so
now
they're working as part of a team. They're used to be in the alpha that just does their own thing.
So it's really hard because some of these, one of the seasons I just watched, they were literally a private chef, but they killed it and they got really far in it because they realized it was cool because he did a monologue. It was like a 6th season when he got put for elimination. He's like, I need to kind of chill out a little bit, and he literally chilled out and he went a lot farther because he started like. Talking and communicating, and so
those are fun shows though because you start like when it first starts, you're sizing everybody up and like this guy ain't gonna last.
Oh yeah.
When I first saw Brad, I was like, this guy is gonna flame out so fast, but he goes deep into it, and like some of the people are like, that's gonna be the teacher's pet, and they start out that way, but then like people you think are safe are not safe.
Yeah.
And then people you think will never make it go way further than you think.
Well, it's always, for me lately, it's been people who have been fine on it. I love reality TV shows like Big Brothers, that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff.
My wife watched the one where it's like British and they were baking some cupcakes or some desserts.
Is that the British baking show? Nailed It? Yeah.
I know. Nailed It.
Yeah.
It's so goofy.
I couldn't sit through a lot of it.
It's so goofy. I just like Hell's Kitchen just because it's like Gordon Ramsay, my favorite reality show, because he knows what he's doing. He just gets unfiltered. The best part's watching it unfiltered. You ever watch the uncensored version of Hell's Kitchen?
I really don't know.
The things he bleeps out, like when they bleep something out and he says something, they bleep it out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he definitely just said, the B word right there. And it's like, oh no, he just said the F word. And it's like, you learn like he has a very colorful cursing vocabulary.
Yeah.
Like he is very...
He uses a lot.
Yeah.
Kitchen Nightmares is great too and that would drive you insane. Because you will see these people that are business owners and you want to strangle them because they are so stuck in their ways and they are failing and everybody in their family's in debt because they're failing and they will not listen to anyone. Dude. And then this guy who's a world-class chef will come in and be like,
here's $100,000.
Like, what are you doing? I will help you.
This.
And they say, get out of here. I'm not, like these people have no shame. They'll look at Gordon Ramsay and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Like it's like if as a business owner, you would be like cringing. Like this guy is coming here. He's remodeling your restaurant. He's telling you exactly what you need to do to succeed, and they are just totally like shoving it back. Like I will never.
Some of these people will write to Gordon Ramsay saying, "Come to my show."
Yeah.
Like, and then
they get mad. And then they get mad. Some people you can't can't say. But then it gets like they do listen sometimes, and it's like you feel bad.
But then you find out 80% of the restaurants get shut down afterwards because they can't.
80% of restaurants get shut down. Period.
Yeah,
like it's hard to have a restaurant.
It's hard.
If Gordon Ramsay came in and completely, because you see what he does at some of those restaurants,
it's not sustainable.
Like wallpaper coming off and he comes in and he just completely renovates
because the problem is even if he comes in and renovates and he gives them a 1 week master class in how he would do it, the second he's gone, they are not him, and they will go back to making decisions that are poor.
What they're used to.
Yeah, your habits are everything.
Yeah,
and what you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it is crazy.
Good TV. It's good TV.
Yeah,
I watch
that hope of like maybe they'll figure it out.
They'll get it. They'll do it. I know they can.
But what I learned watching that is how messy family stuff gets when you start having a restaurant. Yeah. Parents going into debt, brothers going into debt, people getting passive aggressive, like not because some of it almost becomes therapy where he's like sitting with them like your marriage is falling apart because of this. Yeah. Like, and it's like crazy.
There's that it takes too.
Craziest one. We'll move on past this because I know I just completely derailed it because that's all I watched. Gordon Ramsay was sitting down. There was 2 brothers and a father, and the father has been promising one brother that when he's done, he'll take over the business. While the other brother has funded the business, gave him the loan for the business, and has not been paid in like a year from the business. Yeah. But hasn't been told anything. So you have one brother who's completely not invested but being told he's getting everything. The other brother who is completely invested, not getting a dime. So he says down and
the prodigal son. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Gordon says, he's like, so have you told the other one what you've said? And he's like, oh no. And now he's like, what? And he's like, well, it found out you're not getting anything. And this dude just loses his mind. He's like, I'm in thousands of dollars of debt. He's like, if this goes under, you two are fine. He's like, but I'm the one that's screwed. Yeah. And it just blows up. And then finally it's like, they all simmer down. And the best part, the dad's all the time like, you need to calm down. Yeah. You need to calm down. And it's like, no, I would lose my mind.
That's why, Zach, I do think of any of them, you would like that show because it is businesses and it's like bad business or even people trying to make it. But Gordon Ramsay, if he catches something like that, he throws it out in the open. Like he will not let things go unsaid. If he walks into a restaurant and their family or the people are not getting along, he calls it out immediately. And you love that chaos of like everything out there and just people the cringe of it. Like
the best is like
I love that stuff. This is kind of off topic, but still like why I love that stuff. Like I had a friend growing up that there would be an awkward segment in like a friend group or like with people at our school or whatever, and this guy would throw it out in the open. Everyone would be thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is with this girl. Oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. And my friend would be like, yeah, it sounds like a freaking nightmare. He would say something, and everyone around would like laugh nervously because he always threw the elephant immediately, like a social terrorist is what I would describe this. Like,
but I love it.
I love it because it finally grew on me. That kind of like I just love that chaos, or I just love like not beating around the bush. Like I love confrontation. That's why I loved Boston. When I traveled up to Boston, like we went up.
That's how the East Coast is.
I couldn't live there. But for a traveling kind of thing, when we went, we were kind of picking out what we were wanting to eat we were at that market area.
The Boston market. Quincy market.
Up in that area. And I remember we were looking, and the guy's like, you going to order? You gonna do something? And they were very rude to the point. And I loved it. And I remember some people that were with us in our friend group was like, they were ready to go the heck hole.
Yeah, but that's how it is. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, I loved it because you knew where you stood with people. And whereas like we're here in Ohio area and stuff, people like I genuinely enjoy that niceness. I'm not saying like let's always be mean out in the open. Like that's kind of an exhausting way to live.
There was a hot dog stand.
It's refreshing
in New York. This guy ordered a hot dog. It was $3. I watched the video literally earlier today. And he was like, I want a little this, I want a little that, and just a little, and he's like being very particular and very like short. But the guy's listening, doing all this stuff, and the lady behind him's like, could you be nicer? And the dude turned around, he's like, do you want your hot dog the way you want it? So then the best part that was the dude who owns the hot dog stand is like, lady, it's his hot dog. Shut up and let me take the hot dog. Yeah. And it's like
it's a different attitude.
And I'm like,
parts of this.
I'd melt down. Yeah. I would lose my because I'm like so like calm like, hey, is there any chance I could get just, no onion on? I'm like so nice.
Yeah.
And this dude's like, yeah, don't put any of those onions on that. I want just a little. That's too much cheese, man. And the guy's like taking a fork and pulling some cheese off. Like,
I will say with like, there is a certain, with food people, I have been shocked in my life at how forward people have been to food people. Mm-hmm. Because with anything else, like, hey, I go to, I want to get my phone fixed, whatever, and people have been a-holes. I get it, whatever. They had a bad day at work. I don't get being mean to like food service people. Because those people, okay, we'll be here 1 second, sir. Like they're gonna spit in your spit in your food. Why would you ever risk that? Like if people control what's about to go in your body, you're an idiot. Like if you're gonna I get being mean to I don't support being mean to these other people. I've always seen so many people being mean to waiters.
Oh yeah.
That it's like I don't want to be here when you're doing this.
Yeah.
But
any movies you guys have watched? I went to the theaters and saw a movie.
Really?
Yes. It was spur of the moment. It was about a week or two ago. My wife and I went and saw a movie with Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, I heard about this.
Called Nobody.
Yes, how was that?
I liked it. I really did. So we like Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad.
And Better Call Saul. He's
awesome. And the trailers presented as basically a guy. This is in the trailers. It's a guy with a wife and kids, and he's just kind of like, a guy that's like an accountant. He goes to work every day, and the inciting incident is somebody breaks into their house and, kind of like robs some stuff and, beats up on his kid or whatever. And like, he doesn't fight them. Like, he tries to diffuse it, even to the point of like his kid tries to start the fight, but like he diffuses it. And then the people leave. And so then it's like the cops are like, so they punched your kid and like, you didn't do anything, And like, so they're like, basically like, and people at his work are like, it's all presented as like, man, I'm rooting for you, man. But like, this whole thing. Well, okay. I will not ruin the twist of this movie, but that's like the first 20 minutes probably. There's a twist 20 minutes in this movie that are not in the trailers. I didn't see it coming. And this movie, basically what it shows from there in the trailers is he goes on a rampage. Yeah. So you're assuming like, okay, this guy just cracks and he goes on a rampage. Well, this movie is not what I thought it was at all from the trailers. So I won't
gonna check this out. Because
I will not say the twist, but it is not what you expect. And it's a very dark comedy kind of a vibe. Yeah. It is funny, definitely funny. It is. So imagine like John Wick with like the gore of like a Tarantino movie. It is brutally gory. Yeah. It is brutally gory. Parts of it reminded me of like Yakuza, where like he's just in a room with 15 people and they are just beating the hell out of each other, and like people's teeth are falling out of their mouth. It reminded me a little bit of The Raid too at times. Just not in terms of tone, but just like how absolutely brutal some of the kills are and some of the fighting is. But there is a twist.
Falling Down. This doesn't sound exactly like it. No, Falling Down is about a guy who gets like he's on the highway, he's stuck in traffic, and he pulls out a gun. Like it goes. Well, not in that part, but like he just goes crazy against all these things that people have to deal with on everyday life. Like
that is how the movie's presented at first. I will just say there is a twist, and me and Jess were talking about it after the movie. We were like, did we like what the movie we thought it was going to be more?
Well, I don't know what it's going to be
versus what the twist entailed. And we talked about it, and it was like the twist takes it in a direction that's like it kind of takes out the mystery pretty quickly. Yeah. Like there's a twist, but it's not like a twist of like where is this going? Like as soon as the twist happens, you're like, oh, they're going to do this.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, but it's fun. It's fun, and it becomes almost like fan servicey at a point, not of like to a property, but like. They become these setups who are like, this isn't going to turn out well for this guy.
What's going to happen?
Like, I would say that there's definitely like a John Wick influence to it of like, it's good. Like, it's a good movie, worth watching.
It's called Nobody?
Nobody.
I do want to check that out.
And I will say it's not really long. It's kind of like John Wick where it's like to the point. It's like this set piece. And I think there is some Yakuza influence, and like there's like the main bad guy like gets up and like sings karaoke. So there's just some cool like character kind of stuff, but it's not like an Oscar type movie, but it is a fun action movie that is very dark at times and very brutally violent.
That's awesome.
If you're squeamish, maybe not for you, but
there's a lot of cool movies coming out in the fall or towards the end of the year. Matrix 4, Dune.
Matrix 4 is this year? Yeah. I am ready.
Also, Paul Thomas Anderson's new film. I just saw that the tentative title is Soggy Bottom Boys or Soggy Bottom, something like that. And then Scorsese has a new film. I don't know if that'll come out, but that's supposed to be this year too. So
yeah, I'm down to start going back to the movies. So.
Yeah, me too. And I watched. I forgot about this. I watched Eric Andre's new film on Netflix. Did you see that? Like advertising, whatever.
Sure.
It's called Bad Trip, and it is kind of like Borat, like esque.
Yeah.
Where there's like a story mixed in with like stunts. So it's basically pranks on people out and about in like the real world.
Yeah.
And they kind of incorporate that. And it's funny because after watching this, it's like, wow, it made Borat 2 even better because not that I didn't like this film, not like this film. Yeah, whatever. But Borat did it better, and that mixing like the real world, like or just kind of like these fictional stories with like messing with people. There's like a thread that's like funny with it, like what they're doing with the story. And like, these people that have no clue and there's no script on that part. But on this, the story kind of seemed like it was a servicing, like you were just trying to get to the pranks and stuff. So the setup is like Eric Andre and his best friend or whatever. And he sees this girl from high school, and he's like, I'm going to chase after her. And they try to get to New York, but he steals his best friend. They steal his best friend's sister's car. And his sister is, like, really rough and, like, goes to prison and stuff. And she's very rough. And she chases them to New York, like, trying to get the car back. But there's very, very, very funny setups and very funny, like, pranks in this, too. But I actually enjoyed the pranks and stuff, and there's, like, some laugh out loud, like...
It's interesting. It's kind of like a return of like the kind of Jackass format.
Yeah, it is, and it's been hard because everyone has a cell phone and stuff. But it's funny still to see how people will react to certain. There's situations where like people are about to be murdered in this thing, and like very heinous things go on in this movie, very violent or whatever, or very just I don't know what to explain it, but. It's funny to see people's reactions. Do they run away? Do they whatever? And they actually make fun of them in the movie. Like, you weren't going to do nothing. Like,
yeah.
These people, and they're still in their face laughing. Like, they don't want to do anything. But...
seems like movies are coming back.
Movies are coming back.
There's a new Nicolas Cage movie I want to see called Jiu-Jitsu that I've been hearing about. I have heard people saying it is the funniest, like, weirdest, craziest thing that's come out in a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that is our first podcast back in the, what would you call this? The man cave.
It felt good to be back.
It is. It's nice.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us. Hey, check out DweeBros on Twitter. Find out when we're going live with our hangouts, when we're opening up Pokemon packs. There's some people we make fun of because when you open those Pokemon packs, there's people that find those streams, like they're just searching for the streams on Twitch or whatever, because they want, when you open, they're hoping that you show the code. So we were just very explicit, like, hey, if you're in there in the chat and this is all you want, here you go.
Use your codes.
So we're feeding you guys like little goldfish with these codes. Because you can get these codes and like there's an online component.
Yeah, there is.
So, like,
online game.
You can redeem like a pack online.
So people, but only one person can redeem it.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's like whatever you want to do.
First to get the code.
But yeah, we're doing fun stuff like that, and we're playing games. Sometimes we're raiding freaking fast food. Me and Devin raided some fast food stuff. Playing Smash Brothers. Oh, that was really fun too. We had people like we can invite you to the game. We played Smash Brothers with a couple guys or whatever jumped in, and Super Mario 3D World. So we're doing those types of streams. When podcasts go up, all that fun stuff. But anything else you guys have to say?
No.
As always.
Thanks for joining.
I'm going to do something. You know, you say I repeat myself. I'm going to do something I've never done.
What?
Good night.